This time on Dreddit.
Sexuality and boundaries. My girlfriend, 21 and myself 24, says she's bisexual, but has also stated she's not interested in having sex with females. When she's spent time without me, on multiple occasions she's slept in the same bed with a female friend that she's admittedly only kissed for fun, but before our relationship began, so when it happened is obviously none of my business. Am I wrong to feel that sleeping in the same bed is crossing a boundary? Don't established and mutual boundaries go for men and women, particularly with someone who identifies as bisexual? Or am I expected to be comfortable based on the fact that she's said she isn't interested in sex with this female? I know that just because I said I wasn't attracted to another female, she wouldn't be comfortable with me doing so. I don't intend to step on toes in terms of friendship. Things other women do around each other that many straight men don't and wouldn't be acceptable as a female to do with another man while in a relationship, is common, but when it comes to identifying as bisexual, isn't that no longer merely considered the better bonding women have with each other? I think our established mutual boundaries are pretty clear based on my asking this question. I would be expected to never do any of this with another female. I'm sure I'm not the only male or female thinking about this. I'm not panicked to draw conclusions and address this to her. We already have discussed a little and ultimately it came to if I trusted her or not, which I do, but she posed me identifying what I considered these boundaries to be, specifically with her and females, and I can't help considering what I would be a double standard. I'm further curious for some more understanding. This is very valuable knowledge and discussion to me pertaining to someone I love and a relationship I value. Personally, though not as important to the discussion, I have been cheated on in the past in similar circumstances, told I should accept it because sexual exploration is important, which I agree, just not in a monogamous relationship. I've also been privy to a female friend unsuccessfully attempt to break my parents' marriage to be with my mother, so I'm aware I'm coming from a place with some negative experiences. That being said, I've had plenty of friends and family who were various sexuality, and love them dearly, have no issue around my partner. TLDR bisexual girlfriend doesn't think double standards apply with other females. My trust only goes as far as what I'm expected to do and not do with the opposite sex. How can I better understand this, or should I accept it at all?
Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding over my same-sex partner not being welcome? My sister is having a destination wedding in Hawaii next spring with immediate family only, plus spouses serious partners. I am a bi-female who has been in a relationship with a woman for the past year. We grew up Catholic, parents used to be insanely homophobic but have mellowed out over the past several years, and they begrudgingly accept my girlfriend, however I can tell they are not thrilled. My sister's fiancé and his family are very Catholic, and his parents and grandparents very homophobic. Her future father-in-law has frequently used homophobic and transphobic slurs. We are all cis. Her fiancé knows I'm in a relationship with a woman but his family does not. My sister and parents do not want my girlfriend to come because they don't want to start drama with her fiancé's family. They told me my sister's wedding is not the time to make a statement. I'm not trying to start drama nor make any statements, just being my authentic self with my girlfriend whom I've been with for a year now. I cannot use the excuse that it's too expensive to travel because my parents have volunteered to pay for flight, lodging, food in full. I have offered to pay in full for my girlfriend, although I'm sure if she were a man they'd sponsor her trip too. For her flight food, she'd stay in my room with me obviously. I also cannot use the excuse of not being able to get off work because I'm self-employed, independent massage therapist. I make my own schedule. I have told them if my girlfriend is not welcome then I will not be coming. Major drama had ensued. Sister is really upset because she won't have a bridesmaid otherwise, it's family only, and her fiancé just has a brother, and she doesn't want to have to explain to the in-laws why I'm not there. Am I the a-hole? I often think about committing suicide out of spite. I have been suffering from depression for several years but since last year, 2020, it's the worst it's ever been. I tried to push through it alone but I couldn't do it and was drowning. I lost so much in 2020 and I couldn't handle it mentally and it just broke me. I don't have a good relationship with my parents and over the years I've lost up all my friends and this is the loneliest I've ever been. I finally worked up the courage and told a few people including my parents how bad it's gotten and that I need help. Nothing has really happened since then. Everyone I've told just tries to pretend it isn't a thing and just tells me to try to stay happy. I know I need to go to a therapist but I don't know where to go or who to go to and I don't think I could afford it so I told my parents and they said they'd look into it but they haven't mentioned it since. I know it's no one's responsibility to look after me and in the end my life is in my hands and it's truly up to me to get better. I just wish people would care more that I'm hurting. So sometimes I think about killing myself so that people will finally understand. They would be like, oh, we didn't know how bad it was, or if only she had come to us. Well, I did go to them and they did know how bad it was but they chose to ignore it and pretend it wasn't real. I just want them to feel guilty. People only care after you're dead and then they start talking about how much they would have helped and how much they cared. My parents are one of the reasons why I feel this way. When I was in high school they forced me out of the closet. They're super religious and homophobic and when they found out I was a lesbian everything changed and nothing was ever the same. They're part of the reason why I feel so unloved and unwanted. They've judged everything about me every single day for years. They make it very clear that I'll never be good enough for them. So I think about ending things because I want them to feel the guilt of being able to help but doing nothing. The guilt of knowing it's their fault. I just want them to hurt as bad as they've made me hurt. Also, before anyone gets worried, I wouldn't actually go through with it. I'm too afraid of death to do it. I just think about it a lot. And if you manage to read through this whole thing, even if you don't comment or anything, I appreciate you. I don't have people to vent to, so I appreciate anyone that listens, even if it's a stranger. Edit. Thank you so much to everyone that commented. I'm sorry if I don't respond to everyone, but I read everything and I greatly appreciate all the kind words and advice given. Am I the a-hole for taking away the car my brother paid half for? I'm a 21 years old and my brother is 17, we'll call him B. The shared car between B and I broke down. Likely broken because someone was revving the engine too hard and often. B admits to trying to race in it. It drove perfectly fine before you know what, where I was mostly the only driver. Then B took it out over the next 3 months and when I tried to drive it again I realized how messed up it was. He gets off with no consequences. There's a spare car for him to use, he doesn't want it. I declare that I'm buying a car for myself. My parents don't believe I'll find anything worth buying. They ignore my whole searching process. B, being a teenage boy, is extremely excited at the prospect of a new car. He knows more about cars, so I enlist him to help me. We come across a good deal. B isn't allowed to buy a car, as per my parents' rule, since he's too young and has no major requirements for a car of his own. My parents believe if they let him buy a car, then he has free range to use it. Fair. They don't want him kicking around and causing trouble or racing. It's agreed that if this prospective car is suitable, I buy the car. However, I'm female. Guys tend to not get ripped off as much, so B contacts the seller and deals, sets up a time to check out the car. We check out the car and it's just about everything I'm looking for. Everything is in great condition, very good price. Parents are stunned. We finalize the deal. B swoops in and pays half. I pay the other half. Our originally agreement didn't occur to me at the moment. I tell him if I move out or decide that I need the car, I'll pay him back his half. He agrees. My credit card has a limit, so Dad uses his card to pay insurance, pulls out money from B's bank account, doesn't listen when I tell him to take money from my account. Now, since the insurance money came from B's account, he owns more than half the car. It's been 2 days. And B has already taken the car out to the local high school race spot. No proof that he's actually raced with it yet, but he keeps insisting that we add racing mods and whatnot into the car. We specifically agreed against this and he's not even supposed to be allowed to own a car. I'm pissed. My parents want nothing to do with it. They've since ignored their no buying your own car before 20 rule, even though myself and my older brother have suffered through that. I offer to pay back the amount B has paid, plus some for contacting the seller. B yells at me to get out of his room for even considering it. Parents say I'm the asshole for trying to take the car away from him. Older brother says I'm not, since B is the one who broke the shared car in the first place. TL, DR, my brother broke our shared car, We bought new one, he paid half, now I don't trust him with it and want to have full ownership.
Am I the a-hole for suing my girlfriend after she had my 1967 Impala project taken to the scrapyard? I'll try to keep this short. I had a 1967 Impala 4-door that I bought in February 2019. A couple months ago I bought my first house that had a 2.5 car garage. I moved the car in and started tearing it down for a complete restoration. I had the body in one bay and the chassis in another, plus the whole garage filled with parts. About 2 months ago my girlfriend came to live with me during this whole crisis and the whole time has hated that car. She wants to park in the garage but I have 2 acres of land with a lot of nice places to park under shady trees or hell even in the barn if it has to be inside. I tell her tough luck, it's my house and it's not like I can just throw it back together real quick. Anyways, I was out of town for a couple days on a business trip for the small local company I work for. When I got back, my girlfriend was all smiles. Making me food all the time, doing all the chores, all that. I thought maybe she just was happy to have me home, but then I realized that I didn't see her car in its usual spot. I asked her where she parked so I could make sure I mow that area and keep it clean and she said not to worry because she parked in the garage. I asked how and she told me to go check it out. Turns out that while I was gone she hired some people to come over and move everything related to that car, including the drivetrain, body, and chassis and all parts, and take it to the local dump scrapyard. I was absolutely dumbfounded. I had spent over 11 grand on that car including new parts, services, and the car itself. I told her that I was going to be taking her to court for that and she brushed me off like I was being dramatic. I told her that it's done between us and to pack her things and leave. I admit I was really angry, but I did end up getting a lawyer, and as I have all the receipts for all that money spent and I have her on my house's security cam footage letting the guys in and watching them take it all, I think I can win. Her family and friends are absolutely blowing me up saying it's just a stupid old piece of junk and that she cannot pay back all that money I spent, and that I should just let it go. But I have been putting all my time, effort, and money into that car for a year and a half now, and goddammit if I am not going to get justice for what she did. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Thank you all so much for the support and awards and everything. I'm glad I have some people on my side. I got a call from her mom about 20 minutes ago and she told me that I was ruining her daughter's life over a stupid car. I told her she ruined her own life. I've been gathering documentation and stuff and I'm about to head down to the police station and file a report, as suggested by lots here. Once again thank you all. Update: went to the police station last night, was told to come back in the morning. Just got back and filed an official report against her for grand larceny and grand theft auto. I showed them all the receipts I had for the car and the footage of her letting the guys come and take it as well as the title for the vehicle in my name. They said they will be in contact with all 3 parties, me, XGF, and junkyard guys, soon and they will hopefully be able to recover some or all of the car. Just have to wait now. Huge update: they found my goddamn car. The junkyard guys apparently were in the middle of hiding it when the police came to ask them questions. It was on a forklift and they were gonna put it on top of a pile of cars that was hidden behind more piles of cars. They said it was theirs and they had the title, but obviously didn't have the title for it, and since they matched the VIN on the chassis and body to the VIN on my title, it was obviously mine. I know at least one person there has been arrested. I think he was in the camera footage I talked about earlier, but I don't know if it was the boss or whomever or even his specific charge. They also told me they would be looking into this specific junkyard for any other vehicles reported stolen. They said they haven't been able to get in contact with my ex just yet, but they're working on it. I'm just so glad they found my car. Luckily I made quite an album of pictures detailing me tearing down the car, and so I can use that to prove what parts they had were mine so I can hopefully get most or all of it back. Police haven't let me take it back home yet as they say it is evidence or something, so hopefully I can get it back eventually. Thank you all so much for the support and advice. She's gonna be alright.
Am I the a-hole for boxing in a guy's car in my driveway and asking him to pay me to get it out? Bit of a prologue. So now that you know what is calming down in my country, a lot of fairs, carnivals and parties have started. I live near a huge park where most of this happens. And it's all day, finishing around 10 p.m. Problem is that it's getting impossible to park our cars. We have 3 cars in our household, and our driveway accommodates 2 of them. The third, my brother's car, is usually parked outside with a residence permit. On Sundays anyone is free to park, and with all the craziness, if we take that car out we aren't able to park on the street until later when the fair has stopped. People usually use our street to park as it is free compared to the others where you have to pay. I was discussing this problem with a few neighbors who had decided to park their cars outside the homes to hopefully deter people from using the street. Now I didn't mind parking 2 cars in my driveway and 1 outside, but it was getting ridiculous that when my brother would go out he'd either have to park 4 streets away and walk, wait for a car to move, which was very unlikely, or stay at home all day. He can't drive the other cars because they are manual and he has an auto license. We all use our cars pretty much daily, so it wouldn't make a difference who's parked out or in. So last Saturday night I tried the neighbor's tactic and park one of my other cars outside. The next day I used the driveway to run some errands, after checking to see if anyone would be going out or needing a car. I come back at around 2 p.m. to find an Aston Martin parked in my driveway. And parked in a way that I can't get in either. There's no proper parking left on the street, but I managed to squeeze my car directly in front of the entrance to my driveway, blocking the car in. It's only around 10:30 that the owner comes crawling back and starts banging on my door until I open. I was met with a very angry guy demanding I move my car. I tell him that he shouldn't have parked on my property. He proceeds to start shouting at me about how I am so lucky to have his car in my driveway and that I should pay him to have it boost my worth. Yes, seriously. I had never tried so hard not to laugh, but I told him that if he was bringing up money he could move his car if he paid the going parking rate, amounting to around $16 for 8 hours, which I was going to give to a homeless person anyway. He throws obscenities at me while kicking my plant pots until my neighbor comes out hearing the commotion. He threatens to call the police, so the guy throws a 20 my way and I move my car. He drives off calling me the world's biggest asshole and a money grabber. I tell my neighbor about what happened and about the money, at which point he gets a bit curt and says that I shouldn't have asked for money and should have called the police straight away. I didn't really want to get police involved, but also wanted the guy to be taught a lesson. So am I the a-hole? Edit. So pretty much all the comments are saying, why didn't I get it towed? The tow companies here charge, especially on a Sunday. But I got my revenge, so either way it was nice to see a seething entitled guy not get his way for once.
You